Hello everyone, and we got the early access to the Aztec DLC. So here are the gods we have. Huitzilopochtli, Lord of War and the Sun, Tezcatlipoca, God of Obsidian, Darkness and Sorcery, and at last the Quetzalcoatl, God of Wind, Arts and Wisdom. I'm pretty excited to show you these three gods over here we got from the Aztec DLC, and we're jumping straight up into a game. First, we start with Huitzilopochtli. We could do a little showdown over here. This is how the temple looks like. We can only train warrior priests, heroes, in the Archaic Age. Myth units come later. These are the priests we have. And this is our scout unit over here. Let's see its actual speed. Its actual speed is 4.3, so quite slow. And it has the stealth ability, where whenever you pass near woodlines or trees, he is invisible, so your opponent cannot really see him as well. Your scout is invisible near woodlines. Very good. Can potentially be used against early raiding. You know, woodline enemy raiding, that might be very strong against the Greeks. And that's quite cool to see. So something else we need to be aware of is your villagers are sacrificed at the temple to gain favor. So right now you can see we're having 20,000 favor. If we put that villager in there, 15 favor, and that villager is sacrificed. And we get 15 favor for sacrificing that villager. Isn't that kind of amazing? 14 favor to sacrifice this villager. And one more thing that you should be aware of is every time we sacrifice a villager, we get passive favor income. So that's one thing to keep in mind. What else do we have here? We're gonna age up to the classical age. We've seen enough for the archaic age. And we can do the Malinoalxotl, or I hope I pronounced that right. I'm not quite sure. We're gonna go back to the Devastated command. And here's what we have. We get a nice snake, throws poison. From the looks of it, has 2 special abilities. Let's train a couple of them. And time to see the barracks units. So what we have here, the classical age units, we have the war hats. And we got the Noble's Hut, where we can train super units. So casual units from the War Huts, super units from the Noble's Hut. Kinda simple. Alright, so what we can train from the War Hut is quite straightforward. Basically spearmen, the Tlamani spearmen, the counter cavalry. If you look at the stats, here they are. They have 4.8 speed, so they're fast as a berserk. Excuse me. And we got the Tequila archer. They pretty much work like a Toxoty, you know. They have, what, 5.6 DPS. Sounds strong on paper. And 1.25 multiplier against infantry. 14 range, so slightly less range than an archer. So anyways, so this looks like a composition you will most likely do against Norse from the looks of it. And you will be later mixing in the super units from the Noble's Hut. So what can we train from the Noble's Hut here? We can train the Coyota warrior. Alright. And the Ocelotl warrior. So they also get the stealth, by the way, from the looks of it. I wonder if that's a god bonus unique to them. Temples, great temples, villages and town centers refund 33% of their cost upon completion. Alright, collecting... No, it's not a bonus of Huitzilopochtli. So from the looks of it, the Nobles Hut units, or just the Ocelotl warrior, also become invisible near woodlines. Let's take a look. Yes, once again they're invisible. Pretty nice, pretty OP. So what the Ocelotl warriors do is they have insanely high DPS with 12.5 hack damage per second. They have no specific multiplier, so they work... It looks like they work like super berserk, something like that, where they don't really counter heavy anything, but they do very well against anything they can reach. This is their purpose. 3 population, 70 food, 60 gold. Pretty much quite expensive. Slow, 4.5 speed, and 15% pierce armor. Quite interesting. And as for the Coyote Warriors, we got... They work like a Huskar. They have 2.5 multiplier against archers. That definitely works against throwing axemen as well, since they have the range unit tag. 5.8 hack damage per second, very decent DPS. 10% hack armor, they die really fast to any melee units from the looks of it, and 45% pierce armor. So they can really take on archers. 30 food, 55 gold, extremely cheap, 2 population only. Definitely, this is a classical Age Huskar from the looks of it. Probably less resistant to arrows. That's one thing to note. And then again, we're gonna be going over to the Heroic Age and see from there how things look like. We could age up through Ispalotl, yes. And we get this nice butterfly, obsidian butterfly. It looks quite strong. Reminds me of a siren. Oh, that's so cool. This is a siren, probably. An Aztec siren. I'm not quite sure. But anyways, and edging up to the Heroic Age, we unlock the Eagle Warrior. Elite ranged soldier, good against anything it can reach, especially ranged soldier. So, since we train super units from the Noble's Hat, this is a super peltast, to explain it better. A super javelin thrower, because it has a multiplier of 1.5 and an extremely high DPS, 6.7 pierce damage per second. Very high for a anti-archer unit, definitely very high. And 19 range on top of that. Look at that range that unit has. Very good unit, and only costs wood and gold. 15% hack armor and 30% pierce armor. And 100 HP. For an archer it has pretty decent hit points, not gonna lie. But also, edging up to the Heroic Age, we get access to the Great Temple, which you might also call Hill Fort, Fortress, Palace, however you like. This is a Great Temple. It has the purpose of a Hill Fort, but for the Aztecs. And yes, what do we get over here? What we can train is even way super more units from the looks of it. So you have the casual units from the Warhats, super units from the Noble's Hat, and hyper super units from the Great Temple. This is insane, actually. This is so exciting to see. Medium Otontin Smasher. So that sounds like a siege unit. And medium Sorn 1. Let's train a couple of these units. They are very huge, not gonna lie. Look at them. Oh, they look like... Alright, and they work like destroyers. Maybe even stronger. 8 times more damage against buildings. They do insane amount of damage to buildings. And they... Do they have any type of range attack? No, they do hack. Okay, they do hack armor. They have 1 range. 25% hack armor, 65% pierce armor. They can really withstand towers and fortresses or whatever. Check this out. It's just gonna kill that gazelle. Alright, and they are considered to be infantry, so I guess archers will be applying bonus damage against them, hip speed, throwing axemen. So definitely a unit you should be careful against any enemy frontline. And the second super unit from the Great Temple is a medium Sorn 1. We're gonna train a couple of them. They're also super hyper units, and what they do is basically they counter infantry. Okay, they work like a super samurai because they do very high DPS, 11 hack damage per second, and they have a multiplier of 3 against infantry, pretty much a samurai, but 3 population, 90 food, 45 gold, slightly cheaper maybe, and yes, they're pretty slow as well, so that's a unit you might wanna train against Norse mostly, because Norse is full of infantry, so you train that unit here against Norse, you'll be doing quite well against them. They do have a special ability I would like to see. Maybe let's go use it against the opponent. What it does is temporarily reduces enemy damage and stuns them for a brief duration. Okay, so they have a stun ability. We're gonna find out very soon how it works. But yeah, in the meantime, we could also go to the Mythic Age. And we're gonna age up through Miklantenkuhli I'm sorry, I don't know the pronunciations exactly. I only studied the major gods. But yeah. Let's see if that ability works on those villagers. Okay, it doesn't. We're gonna use it on the main army then. Let's see how that ability looks like. So they stun units for a brief moment. That looks quite interesting. So we're gonna be deleting them because we want the enemy army to survive. And now we're gonna test the god powers before we test the rest of the units because we've had these many. Blood Pact, target any unit to grant immense power for a short duration. When the effect ends, the unit dies. Alright, so for example, if I have this unit and I wanna boost it, I'm gonna be boosting it by using the god power. But in 30 seconds, the unit's going to die. The cool thing about this god power is the fact that you can literally use it on enemy units as well. But here's my idea. Here's what I'm gonna do. This unit is also super, even though it's enemy unit. It has also been boosted, but it also dies in 30 seconds. So I'm gonna be making a different video for all of the god powers actually. That's gonna be way better. Now we're gonna focus on the main Aztec... on the main Aztec aspects and units and military and everything. So let's look at the Smith units. We have the medium Jaguar Rider and the Queen Amedzin. This looks like a Siege Smith unit. Let's train them. So you have noticed that actually Aztecs in history they didn't really have any type of cavalry, right? And so that's historically accurate. So instead they made Jaguar Riders, warriors who actually ride Jaguars. And there's one very cool thing about the Jaguar Riders, the fact that they can jump. So you're riding them and check this out. You wanna jump this gold mine, you're gonna do this. So you can jump walls using the Jaguar Tigers. They also get invisible. What? Wow. And they're extremely strong. I think you could consider them to be something like the Tiger Cavalry, but cheaper on food or something, because they have 20% hack armor, 40% pierce armor, 220 HP, quite strong, and a DPS of 15.2 hack damage per second. Extremely strong. 1.5 extra damage against archers. Definitely amazing. And at last, from the Great Temple, we also have these huge units, the Queen Amedzin. We're gonna delete some of them. We wanna see how these units perform. And they definitely do a lot of damage because 150 crash damage per second. And that's a myth unit. Let's see how the snakes perform. Are they like widgets? So they do throw both fire and poison. This is what these classical age snakes do. Fire and poison. That is amazing. But let's build more of these units here. The Queen Amedzin. They have 15% hack armor, 80% pierce armor, 3 speed, extremely slow. They do some type of pierce damage too. 3.3, very low. 24 range, extremely high range. So this is amazing. Look at this range. Obviously they don't have as much range as a catapult, but this is extremely strong for a myth unit. I do have the myth unit tag, right? Yes, myth unit. Builders of ancient cities. Interesting. And if we upgrade them, can we upgrade them? Maybe not. So there'll be an upgrade there for them. Anyways, they do look extremely cool. They are some type of giants, Aztec giants. Now if we go back to the temple, we're gonna see, yep, we already saw the obsidian butterfly and the snakes and the hero. We can upgrade them all, everyone, and nice. And now we also have the Tunkuluku, a giant owl. Very strong. Very, very strong. So yeah, this unit is definitely, you're gonna see a lot of it. Maybe I have this idea. Maybe let's send those owls over the opponent's base. So we can just, we can just see how they perform. But you're actually gonna see me how I perform with these owls in a real game, because I will be posting a lot of Aztec content. So here's a preview of the Aztec civilization. I will be posting lots of videos, so hit that subscribe button, like the video, share the video, support the channel. I will be doing a lot of Aztec content. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the very next video, which is likely going to be tomorrow.